So, hello.
Hi, what's up, Jeff?
Today I have with me Dr. Justin Spiegelman, who's a friend who we got to meet as he was an associate in our practice for what, a year and a half?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Yeah. He abandoned us to move on to Austin, Texas, and that's where he is now. And his wife is a dentist as well. And he's going to update us on basically what he's been doing since he left and how much he misses us. Um,
Of course. I miss you
um,
guys a lot.
and we miss him too. But as we know, nothing lasts forever, especially jobs and careers, which sometimes that's great because we want to move on to other things and especially retirement.
Yep,
So,
that's true.
why don't you just tell us a little bit about who you are and how you got here and the Cliff Notes version? Nothing long and fancy.
Yeah, definitely. So I graduated from Tufts in 2019. So I've been practicing for about 6 years now. My wife is a Harvard trained dentist and she was uh, sponsored by the US Air Force. So my associateship career lasted probably longer than I felt like I wanted it to. But in the same sense, I got a lot of experience working at how many, like 8 different offices by
Mm,
now. Um, your office was probably the longest that I spent time at,
yeah,
and probably would have been there longer if we hadn't decided to move.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so I feel like I've been kind of all over the place, every type of office that's out there by now.
yeah.
And yeah, so she finished up her Air Force career and we moved down to Austin, Texas, where my sisters are, trying to just be around family. And we're taking this opportunity to move on to the next step of the career, which is practice ownership.
And is Mai going to practice with you now when you take over this
She will
practice?
eventually practice with me. But the goal is to build up this office to a point where we actually need a second dentist in the office.
Oh, okay.
So part of my search was actually looking for offices that need a lot of improvement. Offices that have the potential and that are already productive and successful, but that the systems just aren't where they need to be to really maximize everything.
Yeah,
So I mean, this office, I recently signed a letter of intent on an office. And it's just that the demographics are amazing. They have a very large patient base that's just not being kept in touch with, not being followed up with. And their systems just aren't set up in a way that allow productivity of the office beyond the bare minimum,
yeah.
which is what the previous owners wanted. They were working 2 days a week each. It was a husband and a wife dentist, and their son worked in the office as well.
Mm,
Um, they were working each of them, like all three of them were working about 2 days a week. They had no hygienist in the office, so they're doing
mm,
all the hygiene work, no specialty work. Um, if they if a patient comes in for a cleaning, they schedule them 6 months out. If the patient doesn't show up to that appointment, they never reach out to them. They never call them
mm.
again. They don't have a text follow-up system.
Yeah,
They aren't very strict on collections in the office. So they're really just there to get by and to pay their bills and to enjoy their lives, which, that's what most dentists want.
hmm,
But at the same time, with just a few tweaks, we can go in there and increase productivity by 50%.
yeah. That's
Um, s-
awesome. That sounds
so
exciting.
yeah. So I mean the goal would be like get in there, like really get things working like a well-oiled machine. And once I can't handle the amount of patients coming in the office anymore, then we'll bring Maya in and get her working in there too.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. You probably, well, we don't know what the office is, so you can probably talk about some
Yeah.
specifics, right? So how many new patients does the office see on average a month now?
Right now I think they're seeing about 20 new patients a month.
Okay. Is it PPO or fee for service or combination?
Majority PPO. They don't take no HMOs, no Medicaid.
Yeah.
I think they're on a few umbrella plans, so just kind of whoever walks in the door, they
Yeah.
they take them.
Yeah.
But there's there's a Medicaid office, I think, in the same town that they'll send those patients to.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, how many operatories is it?
It's 5 ops,
That's good.
so
And
it's a good starting point.
yep. And then, what's the staff complement?
There's 2 assistants, there's an office manager, and 1 other front desk part-time.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of a need for staffing, especially because, the owners were doing a lot of the work,
Right.
a lot of the administrative work
Right.
and a lot of the hygiene work, which is not, where I wanna be spending my time long term.
Right.
Uh, so would be kind of revamping the staffing situation. I haven't met anyone on the staff. They don't know I'm coming in there
Right.
yet. So really, it's gonna be assessing the situation before I start putting any sort of, n I don't know what you call it, like, flyers or
Yeah. No, 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 yeah.
listings for hire, but
Oh,
probably
right.
it'll be coming soon.
Well, you'll find it's an interesting process if you haven't been through this before, which you haven't, but, typically what happens is you're gonna be taking over the practice, you'll be buying out all of the assets, putting them in your name, starting a new corporation, which technically means that they will be firing the staff and you will be hiring them. So there's an actual the process goes is that whenever, if everything goes along, financing is good, all the terms, everything looks like it's going, then there'll be a point where you agree to sit down with the staff and meet the staff and make that transition. But on the day when the keys are turned over, they are officially fired by that company and you hire them,
Got it.
which most of the time, unless there's extenuating circumstances, they're going to agree to be hired and you're going to keep them at the same terms and do all those other things. But it kind of switches uh, all of the tax systems that are in
Yeah,
place to your new corporation, right? Which is kind of, I thought was kind of, strange, but it makes legal sense, right? And business
yeah,
sense, right?
for sure. Yeah. I guess it doesn't it's something that you don't really think about until you are actually that day comes, right?
Yep. So in that instance, though, they're getting to know you, you're getting to know them. So,
Yeah.
this process. You've been in a lot of different offices.
Yeah.
It's just a
Yeah,
little
I
different because
mean
it's your office.
yeah, I mean, the main thing I think about is, are they gonna try to hold me hostage? Are they gonna try to force my hand on raises or bonuses or special terms in order to keep them in the office?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, anything goes, right? So anything goes. But I think you'll have a chance, and you're a pretty good judge of personality and character. You will have a chance to meet all of them and spend some time with them and interview them, and they get to interview you and all that stuff prior to the transition, right? Like
Yeah,
that all
sure.
occurs. So it's exciting, right? It's exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah. And yeah,
and
so that's cool. So um as far as growth goes, like what type of growth plans do you have? And I know it's nothing, you got to get in there and do that type of
and,
thing, but just on your initial assessment, what are the top 3 things that you plan on growing?
well, definitely growing the hygiene department, um, kind of, we're gonna have to split it up, right? So just the productivity of the dental department and the hygiene department separately
Yeah.
is gonna have major growth because there's just gonna be, um, providers specifically doing those procedures, right?
Yeah.
Um, the second thing is they do no specialty work in the office.
So like
So
endo, oral surgery,
yeah,
implants.
exactly. So they're pretty much just doing cleanings, fillings, and crowns. So that's a huge area of growth that we'll see, is not needing to refer out so many patients and being
Yeah.
able to do that. And then third is going to just be, like I was saying, like improving the systems and getting a good recall system going, because the patients are never followed up with. They don't
Hmm.
get text reminders about their appointments. They don't get followed up with if they miss an appointment.
Yeah.
So really just trying to improve like patient retention in order to grow that patient base.
Yeah. Which you'll probably need to expand the administrative capacity in order to do that.
Yep.
Um, and what type of practice management software do they have?
They're using EagleSoft.
EagleSoft. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's a good in between Open Dental and Dentrix.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
What
fine.
a I'm not planning on changing anything
No,
like
I
that.
wouldn't change that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Once that there's nothing wrong with that. What's the,
yeah.
imaging? What
I
do they
think they're
use?
using Dexys.
DEXIS. Okay, which
Yeah.
is that's strong. Yeah. So that's good. So at least it's digital.
Yeah, the office is
That part is
digital.
digital.
There's like some updates that could happen here and there, but nothing that's like urgent at the
Yeah.
moment, other than, I'll probably go get a CBCT in the office if I'm going to be doing a lot of implant work.
Yeah.
That's probably the only major equipment purchase I would need to do. They have they have like an old, is it the Omnicam, or they have whatever, like one of the oldest scanners in the office that you
Okay.
had, the ones that you had to spray the teeth
Yeah, we
before
had
we
one of
scanned
those.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but they also have not the newest, but the second newest model of the iTero scanners.
Mm,
So I might be able to get away with just using
you can
that
get away with that.
iTero
Mhm.
until we get a little bit more productive and can bring in a new scanner.
Yeah. Good. Good. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you have, quite a few things to do before you would focus on your any advertising. Um, but because there's plenty to do internally as far as increasing the production, increasing the, just the patients coming in, right? As
Yeah,
far
I
as
mean,
the existing patients.
I think we'll get some sort of advertising plan going from the beginning, but how much money is going to be going into the advertising is going to be determined based on like how busy we can be getting.
Right. So, yeah, tell me what your, as a, as a dentist, what are you thinking as far as what do you wanna do advertising wise? What do you what do you know? What do you not know? Where's your head at? And your head and your heart. I wanna know your
Yeah,
head and your heart.
for sure. Um, I mean, I think that a presence like on Google reviews is obviously going to be pretty important because that's just how people find you who
Mhm,
live in the area. Everyone types in dentist near me on Google.
mhm.
Um, so just trying to get a decent enough reputation to be like towards the top of that list,
Yeah.
findable. I
Mhm.
don't want to just fall under the radar. The good news is there's only like 5 dental offices in that area,
Mm.
so even if I wasn't at the very top, I'm gonna still be pretty visible, I would think.
Yeah.
But just trying to get myself a good reputation in there. Um,
Yep.
as beyond that, I mean, probably send out some mailers. I think most of my advertising is going to be internal advertising, reaching out to. They have like a roster of 12,000 patients, and only 1,200 of them are active. So,
Right.
and they've never sent a text to any of them.
Yeah.
So if I can send a text message to 12,000 people who have been in this office saying, "Hey, you're due for a cleaning."
Yeah. You don't know what's gonna happen there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I might get 5,000 texts back saying, "Let's schedule it."
Yeah. Well, and I don't know how long has the patient been in existence? Like, how long do those names go back?
The office opened in 2007, so I'm sure like some of them are like
Yeah.
really ancient patients. I think in the last 2 years, they've seen about 4 to 6,000 different patients.
Mm.
So there should be like plenty of them who are fresh enough to get in
Absolutely.
touch with. My guess is, people who fall off the radar don't always go find another dentist. They just don't remember they need to go back to the
They just don't
dentist.
go.
Yeah. And like they're just wait
Yeah,
they're just
yeah,
waiting for the dentist to text them, say, "Hey, you're due
yeah,
for your cleaning."
yeah, exactly,
We'll see what
exactly.
happens. I mean, I think like from a expense perspective, that's gonna be, like, the best bang for our buck. Just reach out to the people who are already there and then kinda start trying to get our name around.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's a good strategy, and that's what I mean by you're taking over a practice that does have a lot of opportunity. That type of situation, as you, may or may not be aware, would be very difficult to find in Northern Virginia.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, for sure.
just because, that's not the way it goes in Loudoun County or Fairfax
Yeah.
County or anything that surrounds Washington, DC. On the outlying areas, yes. Um, and let me just kinda, I can give you a little bit of insight on what you were talking about as far as the Google reviews, and we may have talked about this before, but just to clarify. So the Google reviews are definitely important, and when people are searching, there's two different ways that they will find you. One is by going to Google and searching for a dentist, and when you do that on Google, there's two types of listings that show up. And I can just kind of give you an example as I'm talking about this. Um, we're not going to say the town where this practice is, but we will just do, because you're in the Austin area, right?
Yeah.
So we go dentist, we go best dentist, Austin. Okay. And there's different words, but it'd be dentist near me and that type of thing. Now, this is mine, so it shows up a little different because I have ad stuff here, but this
Yeah.
is generally the way that it looks. Wow. Interesting. So the very first, so this is your map listings up here.
Yep.
If there's ads, they're going to show up here. Now, I'm not in Austin, Texas, so it's a little different, and I have my ads that are showing up here that I'm running. But then the first one that's down here is actually Reddit.
And I've been seeing that for
Reddit.
a lot
I
of
have never
searches.
seen
Yeah.
that.
I've been seeing that. Actually, I went and got a haircut today and I typed in just barber near me and the first thing is that popped up was Reddit.
Wow. So then you've got Delta Dental. Okay. So this is what's interesting is that these are what's called your organic listings, and this is typically where your website would show up. So here's where now the dentist, usually Yelp is at the top, right? So Walden Dental is actually the first organic listing that shows up.
Yep.
Now, most people, if they're searching in maps, this is what they're going to see. They're not going to see these other things. But you see, Google is actually highlighting the map listings. And then if there was ads, they would show up here, right? So, so that's the area that we want. No, we want Austin, Texas, right? So the ads would show up there. Now, there's no ad showing up in here. Like, now let's click in here. There's no ad showing up in here. But this is where organically there's two ways to optimize. One is you have to do them separately. They're not the same. One is for your Google My Business listing. So this is your where your reviews are. That's called your Google My Business page. And then back here is your website, right? So this is actually the more important place, but there's no website in here. Your website is listed once it comes in. It's down here,
Yeah.
where they usually have your website. Okay. So what we do is we actually do 2 points of optimization and 2 points of ads. One is optimization of the website to show up on the organic listings. 2 is optimization of your Google My Business to show up on the map listings. Does that make sense? And then doing ads for each of those. Because they're 2 separate campaigns, they're 2 separate optimizations. It's like teeth and gums, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like they're 2 separate things that you have to address separately. So, yeah, so anything that you do here is definitely going to be keys. So he's got his photos in there, office tour. I mean, these are this is an office tour. I was going to say this is an old thing that Google used to require, which was done. This was done 6 years ago. They don't really do these anymore. They don't
Got
do
it.
office tours.
Just so
You,
people can see the location.
yeah, but this is professionally done. You don't see 6 years ago. You can do your own office tours. Um, and then there's all the patient photos and that type of thing, and then you have to look at, okay, well, what percentage of the listings are actually done? What percent of the searches are done on a desktop, on a tablet, or on mobile? And as you right now are on your mobile phone, a majority of the listings or searches are done on a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And people are going to be looking on their phone. They're going to be going to Google Maps. They're going to be checking reviews. They're going to go to your website. Um, you know, the other thing that you want to be able to do if you're doing online appointments, like, so here, this has book online, but let's see where this, Okay, so they have multiple locations, and then you're gonna be able to go book appointment online. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to actually book it or yeah, so it's gonna we're actually booking a time. So there's different ways to do that too. As you know, in our office, we can book a time, or
Yep.
sometimes they can just put an appointment request in. So, um, yeah, so you have a lot of opportunity just from your existing patients. Um, but yeah, on the new patient front, going after your GMB, and I'm sure there is an existing website and domain. And let's just kind of talk about that for a second, because I'm not sure if you're familiar. Let me ask you: are you familiar with the process of taking over a website?
Not at all.
Okay. Well, most people aren't, and so and let's just kind of look at that for a second. I'm going to use some terms that I want to make sure that you understand when I'm talking about them. So your website is basically hosted on a domain.
Yep.
So like on ours here, so you have this is the domain. That domain is what holds your digital real estate, which is the website. So you're buying the asset. So this is an actual, it's an asset, just like a piece of real estate or a building or car or whatever. This is your real estate asset. This is your digital real estate asset. So you want to make sure that you get that domain.
Yep.
So then what you're going to do is once you get that domain, which is usually hosted, I don't know, do they have a marketing company now or do they not have a marketing
They
company?
do zero marketing.
But they have a website.
They have a website.
Okay, good. So just about every business that's a local business is going to have a website. So even if you're doing no marketing, somebody has to know where that domain's home is, which usually requires an email and a password,
Exactly.
which you'd be surprised how difficult it is sometimes to get access to that. Because a lot of times business owners don't know where that's located. They
Yeah.
don't know who has access to it, and they hopefully they'll have somebody that is a professional that they've worked with that they've paid some money to. Because usually, or if you have nothing else going on marketing wise online, you have to be paying somebody a hosting fee,
Such as such as GoDaddy.
and that could be, but then would mean that you're hosting it yourself.
Got it.
And sometimes you need there's more to it than just having it on GoDaddy, right? There's other things that because there's memory involved with hosting the website, and there's security and all those
I
things that
see.
are involved with that, right? So um, sometimes you can have it, in GoDaddy. Sometimes you'd have in other places. That could be, minimum. You're usually going to pay somebody to do that um, is $50 to $100 a month, right? If you're doing it on your
Okay.
own, it could be a few dollars a month. But then every time there's an issue and you want something updated or there's an issue, that means you have to do it yourself,
Got it.
which somebody that like you may or may not want to do that.
So more like a website management company.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's just and that's just one part, but that's the most basic part. So when you get to that point, and you need some help, then you could say, "Hey, I need some help with figuring out where my website is and that type of thing." Immediately, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to update that website to update your information,
Yes.
right? Like take their photos, pictures, bios off and put yours on, right? So that's immediately what need to be done, which that making those website edits is another service that sometimes can be included in that fee, or if it's really inexpensive, it's probably going to be done on a piecemeal type basis, right?
Got it. And
So
what's the harm in just starting from scratch, making a brand new website?
great question. So when we go back to this, okay, this real estate, this domain here is where, remember when we did the search? And so if we go here and we go dentist near me, okay, now we show up here and then we show up here. This real estate is what you're building your SEO into. So all of the keywords and all of the technology are built into two things. They're built into that domain and they're built into the web pages here. So if you don't get that, that means that you're starting from scratch.
Yep.
Now, if they've had their domain since 2007, it's kind of like, let's see, what would that be the equivalent of? It's not really like whiskey, but and it's not like it even appreciates or it depreciates. I think it
Yeah.
appreciates. The right word would be that the domain appreciates with time. And
So
so
kind of like having a credit card open for 20 years versus 1 year, and you're affecting your credit score.
exactly, exactly. So you want to start with, even if they hadn't really done anything, it'd be better for you to start with what they've already built rather than starting from scratch, unless there's a lot of negativity associated with that domain or
Okay.
that brand.
So even if it's a poorly designed website and not really doesn't really have all the things I'm looking for, taking over just that domain is beneficial.
Exactly. So it kind of be like, okay, I bought a house and I bought the land. I like the location, but I don't like the house. Okay. So if the domain is the land, right? Then all we're going to do, I'm like, I don't really like the site. Okay. Then let's just tear it down and build a new one. But let's take as much of the benefit. Like maybe we can still use the foundation. Maybe we can still use the frame. Maybe we can still use some things that will make it, make it an easier renovation and build on what it is that they've already done. So, for example, like when we bought our second location, it was in Burke, and the name of the domain was Burke Family Dentistry.
Got it.
Okay. The name of the practice is Kings Park Dental Center, but we still use Burke Family Dentistry because number one, people don't necessarily freak out too much if the name doesn't match it because we're well beyond that with all the domains and all the names that are out there. But there was a lot of search engine optimization that was built up in Burke Family Dentistry because they had it forever.
Okay.
So there is,
So
yeah,
so
go ahead.
even that was going to be my next question is even if I want to change the name of the office, you don't necessarily need to change the domain name.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to change it from, Joan Smiles to Spiegelman Smiles, that's fine.
And I'm looking at their website right now and the domain name is not even the same as their office name anyways.
Yes. Does the domain have anything to do with the location of where it is?
Yes.
Then you want it,
Perfect.
right? Because that's where, we have Sterling Dental Center, but we have different domains that, well, like we have Sterling in our name, but we don't have sterlingdentalcenter.com. I think that's owned by somebody not in this state, right?
Okay.
Because there's other Sterlings. There's actually one in Texas. There's one in Maryland. There's other Sterling Dental Centers, right? Um, so yeah. So long story short, you want to get access to that domain, then building that, real estate, which is the digital real estate is it would be the next phase, updating it. Maybe you want to do a whole new branding, new colors, new logo, those types of things. We do that from the ground up, starting with the website, then all your other digital assets, any stationery, those types of things.
Yep.
Then there's, different ways to get traffic to that domain. There's the search engine optimization, the SEO, and then there's the paid way, which the technicalities of doing those two things would be a whole nother podcast, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it gets
um,
pretty intricate.
yeah, but that's what we're doing, all day, every day in terms of generating new patients online. And then also, is there like a Facebook page now?
I'm not even sure.
Okay.
If there is, it's never been updated in its lifetime. I can guarantee you with 100%.
Yeah. So maybe you want access to that, which you could get it turned over, or maybe you want to start a new one, Facebook
Yeah.
page, Instagram, those types of things. I don't know what type of area it's in, but
Just something to link more to the office.
yeah, just building that online online digital presence, right?
And when you're talking about SEO, is that like pay per click? Is that going to be like keywords?
That's a great question. So let's go back to dentist near me. So one of the most popular search terms for any local business is going to be dentist or service provider near the area you're in, right?
Yeah.
So we're not really seeing. I'm going to do this called incognito. I'm going to go dentist near.
And based on how popular these terms are, is how expensive it is to advertise under them.
Yes, that's a separate thing. But now that I've done incognito and it doesn't know who I am, it's going to
Yes.
show you. So SEO is search engine optimization, which is a long-term strategy.
Okay.
Paid advertising is a short-term strategy. So I kind of use the example, even though it's crude. It's the difference between um, going through the relationship cycle with a significant other of finding them, dating them, courting them, and marrying them, which would be search engine optimization. You cannot do it quickly,
Okay.
and you have to build that relationship over time by investing time and energy into it. There's no shortcutting it. That is this place listing right here, and that is this listing right here. That is
I see.
search engine optimization.
Okay.
The other way is to pay for a relationship.
So a
That
mail order bride.
mail order bride, the other thing I guess you could do it would be passport bros. You can go to another country and pick one
Yeah.
up and come back, but you're still paying, right?
Yeah.
Um, but that's the sponsored listings.
Okay.
Okay. Now, it's not the greatest example because there's a difference in quality associated with each of
Of
those
course.
relationships, but maybe not. I don't know. I only know the SEO route. So, but you can pay to get to the top of the listing. And in digital terms, um, this way is much faster at getting business, but it costs more money. But you can also very specifically target the people that are searching for your services in your geography in many, what I call voodoo ways, but many creative ways. And this is very tricky because Google is always changing the rules on this. But those are the two ways. So search engine optimization is just a long-term strategy, and then pay-per-click advertising is the quicker term strategy, but you still want to do it long term, right? And one kind of feeds off the other. But to go
So
go ahead. Yeah.
so let me ask you a question, and I feel like this is a question you want to answer. Um, this office I'm buying, there's 4 or 5 dental offices in the entire town, and 4 out of the 5 are DSOs. So how do I compete with a DSO on SEO and paid advertising when their budgets are way beyond my own?
I love that question. And I think that's a very common question. And the short-term answer, the quick and dirty answer is I don't know without doing an analysis,
Okay.
because there is a way of doing an analysis in terms of what is the competition, what are they doing? I don't know what they're doing. Where are you at in relation to the competition? There's literally dozens, if not hundreds, of keywords that we can be competing for, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I'm going to answer that a little bit better in a second. Now, you were going back to the idea of cost per click. Okay.
Yeah.
So cost per click is basically like this is a bidding game, meaning if my best dentist here in countryside, the cost of that click is determined by how many people want that click. And so that's a bidding war. And I can just tell you that there's a lot of very good marketers out there, but in in Sterling, and we've been here since 2014, I probably used 5 different digital advertising companies, and the fifth one being the one that I've been using now since 2001. Every one before has not worked.
Got
And,
it.
and when I say not worked, it's because this is such a competitive area and there's a lot of very savvy, good dentists. And the competition is so high that when you give money to the Google machine, if you don't know how to manage a highly competitive market, you just give all of your money away without getting very much in return.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because everyone else is also paying for the same terms and
Yes.
getting and they're paying more, so they're getting more clicks.
Yes. And there you can always try to fix a problem by just throwing more money at it.
Yep.
Okay.
But someone else will throw more money than you.
Right. So you're asking, okay, so now I have these DSOs, they have deep pockets, they have big marketing budgets, they have marketing teams. How do I compete against that? Well, it's the same way that I compete against that at here, because as you know, there's many DSOs in this area and there's 100 dentists within a square mile. And we have, we get, 80 new patients a month. And we spend, I think we were paying probably around $250 a new patient. So that's something else you need to know. But the way that we do it is we have a very targeted approach in terms of knowing who the competition is, knowing what the costs are per click, knowing what the high value clicks are, but not the high cost clicks. So there's a whole strategy to be able to maximize the budget, and it takes uh, daily optimization, literally daily optimization. And you or I do not have the time, energy, or bandwidth to be able to do that, which is why we have a team that's all they do for multiple accounts. And they do it in dental and they do it in other industries. So they're very familiar with how the bidding system in Google Ads works and how to optimize that incessantly and continually because it's a never ending process.
Gotcha.
Because what happens is you have what happens. So let's just say you're going for a term like we do like dental emergency. And there's been like two guys in town that have been doing dental emergency. They've been spending, let's say $1,000 a month. And then they see that you come in town and you're starting to spend $1,000 a month. Well, you know what they're going to do? They're going to increase their bids. They're going to do the various things. They're like, who is it that's trying to steal my traffic?
Yeah.
That process is never ending where there's people coming in, they're shifting their budgets around, there's competition on here, and you're always having to pay attention to that and to optimize to that.
I see.
And yeah, so that's basically the game. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. And the reason why I say it's not a bad thing is because wherever there's competition, that means there's value. That means there's people that have money and they're searching for things. Where there's no competition, there's no search. There's no like new undiscovered market for dentistry, right? Meaning everybody knows where the people are, but there are very creative ways that we've found to get clicks and get visitors and turn them into patients at a reasonable cost so you're not wasting your money.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, so there, you may want to see more new patients. You may find out that the there's a slow, the other process of waiting for people to come in is a slower process because what we call that too, if we're talking about working the existing patients, we would call that nurturing
Yes.
and doing that digitally through emails and text messages and also through phone calls, right? So there's lots of different ways to do that digitally and ways to do that um, uh, in a little more high touch manner, right?
Yeah.
So
And probably the initial response we get from trying to reconnect with patients would give us an idea of how effective it's going to be.
yes, and also too, though, I think just as it is with any other type of advertising, it's consistency over time.
Yes.
Meaning, if you're going to, um, usually there's going to be a transition letter that's going to go out to all the patients,
Yep.
which would be the first form of promotion. Um, that's going to be a letter, could be an email. That'll get you a certain amount of response of people that are going to be like, happy or excited, or people that are not going to want to come in. Um, and then it's just a matter of continuing to communicate with those people over time, because it's all about being in front of them when they need you.
I gotcha.
Right. So it's like consistency, consistency, consistency. Because as you know, and you've seen this here, like there's people that come in, quote, to the dental office, quote unquote, as new patients that haven't been in 5 years.
Yeah.
And maybe they've
Oh,
gone somewhere else. Maybe they've been to a couple other places and then they decide to come back to you. You know what I mean? So it's just about consistently communicating with people over time, not expecting this to be like, oh, this worked or it didn't work, based on one piece of communication or one email or one text message or one advertising thing. It's wanting to, or committing to doing something consistently over time, because you've done your analysis and you know that, okay, well, we're seeing this many people, we want to see this many people. We're doing this much production, we want to do this much production,
I gotcha.
and committing to that over time. And just like you rightly said, if the people that you're buying the practice from, they were happy, great. There's no need to do anything. If you have desires for growth, then yes, there's definitely things that you should be doing consistently, internally and externally. And the amount of those things and the frequency of those things is determined by your own particular goals.
Yep.
I'll stop talking.
Mm, makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for you to take this over, and hopefully everything goes through.
Yeah, it's gonna be a journey, and I'm sure you'll be following along somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Probably looking at my website.
Well, that would be the start, right?
Yeah.
And we can do an analysis on your website, even whether you knew or not know, and other people can too. You can basically run it, and we can run different analytics and see, what's working on it, what's not working on it, and that type of
Yeah,
thing.
for
Who your
sure.
competition is, it's not confidential information, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, it would be fun to do that and to see what happens. But I think in the very least, find out, where that website is hosted. Do they know?
Yeah.
And just arrange to have that digital real estate transferred and have all that lined up prior to closing, because you don't want to have it close and then be like, okay, well, I don't know where that is, right?
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
And put that digital real estate in your
Yeah.
purchase agreement.
Yeah. And I'm planning on working with a consultant who does a lot of these transitions. So
Mm.
hopefully that would be on their checklist, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you have a consultant, and I'm assuming you have an attorney.
I have an attorney. Attorney was first,
Yeah.
just to put the offer letter, and then yeah, I just contracted a consultant, um because to be honest, I never run a dental practice before. So
Right.
especially with like all the foreseen changes coming up, I really think I need someone who has seen a lot of the issues that can arise in that first year.
Yeah.
Make sure I don't topple the business before it gets started.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you'll do that at all, but I don't think you think you'll
Yeah.
do that at all. But yeah, you want to prepare for whatever can happen, and bring your umbrella and it won't rain.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, do you have any other comments or questions or anything about what's going on right now?
No, not really. I mean, I think just got to get my journey going, and the questions will come flowing in, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, you
But
are on the journey, my friend. You are
yeah,
you are making it happen. So I'm excited that you found a place so quickly, actually, and it sounds like a great opportunity. And yeah, you just really have to enjoy the process, which it sounds like you are.
yeah. No, thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate the support, and um we'll see how things go.
Yeah, we will. So we will stay in touch.
For sure. Yeah, thanks for having me on today.
You're welcome. Thanks for being here.